Hey YouTube clan, TechHunters there, doing another action figure review. Now, this is something a little different than I normally do. Usually I show the packaging with the figures already out, but this time I tried to do something a little different. So I'm doing a review of two figures. I literally just got these in the post, so I haven't opened them yet, as you can see. Well, at the time of this recording, you could be watching this way months down the line and be wondering what the hell I'm rabbiting on about. But these are ones I just got in the door at the time of this recording. And what these are two figures by Spinmasters. Now, if you're not familiar with the Spinmasters company, they're the guys that do these fellas, the 4-inch, and I think they do 6-inch scale Batman figures, sorry, 12-inch scale Batman figures. So they are known for doing some action figures. This seems to be their first step into the League of Legends. Now, I will admit straight off, I don't know anything about League of Legends. Other than that, I think it's an MMORPG, and what that is a massive multiplayer online game. So I think that's what it is. I could be wrong. It's kind of I think it's something similar to like Raid, Shadow Legends, that kind of style thing. All I know is I saw these up on Amazon Germany, or Amazon.de, and picked them up. There was a 4-pack set, and then there's these two individual figures, and then they actually do 6-inch scale figures as well. But I've grabbed these two straight off. So on the left here, we have a character called Darius, who looks to be kind of like a paladin style armored knight type character. On the back, it gives a brief bio about him. It says, the Hand of Noxus, Darius, the nation's most feared and battle-hardened commander, leads the front of the Trifarian Legion, showing little mercy to friend or foe. So he's kind of an armored barbarian kind of character. And then on the right, we have Jinx. These are called the Champion Collection. They're for collectors 12 plus, according to the packaging, so be wary of that. And flipping around the back of her one is the loose cannon Jinx, maniac, impulsive criminal from Zone. Jinx delights in wreaking havoc wherever she goes with her arsenal of custom-built weapons, and then all that is still replicated in several languages and has all the legalese stuff then. So, and then you have an image of the character. It looks like the prototype skin tone looks a little more muted than the one that you get in packaging, but we'll have a look at that when we open her up. And Darius's one again has the image of the prototype figure. They do come with bases, which I can see in the corner of the packaging, but we'll pause this here, we'll get them out of their packaging, and we'll get on with the review. Okay, then we have them up out of their box. Now, I should note that on the side of the boxes, Jinx is listed as 02 and Darius is listed as 01. So, with that being the first and second figure in this line. So, we'll go through Jinx first. She's quite top heavy when you have her gear on her. She's actually a very light figure as well, so she doesn't seem to stand too well without the base. So if I just move her off the base, so the bases, they come with both identical bases. There's only a single peg hole. It's a single peg. It has a UKCA, so I'm assuming UK Canada on it. Made in China on the back of it. It has the League of Legends logo, which is what I'm assuming it is. And it, as I said, just has a single peg. So for Jinx, she comes with 2 accessories. So she comes with more accessories than Darius does, but he's a more hefty figure. As I drop everything. So she comes with what I can only describe as a sharkzooka is probably the best way to describe it. It looks like a shark designed bazooka. Has a handle. She can hold it on either hand. So there's a handle for her to hold it. I think on the packaging, if I grab the packaging there now in a second, I think the packaging shows it on her right. Yeah, she shows her holding the right. Actually, does it say anything about the Pow Pow minigun and Fishbone's rocket launcher accessory is what it's called. So to me it looks like a giant shark bazooka, so that's what I'm going to call it. So, and she comes with her Pow Pow minigun, which is this weird almost pig kind of designed pink minigun. It looks like it has a pig like tail. You can see these piggy like ears on it, done in a pink with a purple. Not too bad. There's very minimal paint apps on the shark bazooka thing. It has yellow in the eyes and has this brown strap holding it around. There's no peg holes on the back of the figure, so it can't strap onto her back. Now, articulation wise, she's not too bad. We'll just go through the sculpt first and the design. So I'm assuming the design is lifted directly from the game. I'm not too familiar with the character designs in game, but she has a very Harley Quinn look to her, in the sense that if I just bring in the recent Harley Quinn figure I reviewed, you can see there's like a two-tone kind of color scheme going on. She has the big braids, kind of similar to what Harley Quinn has. You know, it has plaited hair going down two sides. Her hair is bright blue. She has this kind of wicked smile on her face. As far as I know, the one in the multi-pack is meant to be different in this figure. I think it's supposed to be an exclusive version of Jinx, so I'm not sure what the difference is. Again, not knowing too much about the game. She has tattoos done in that kind of same blue on her shoulder. It looks like, almost look like henna tattoos, but I could be wrong. There's a small corresponding tattoo on her waist, just above her right, just above the waist at the right. She doesn't have a similar one on the left side. She has this belt, which is a separate piece, but I think it is pegged or glued in at the bottom. Her head can turn 360 if you want. I think it's on a ball joint. It doesn't give much range of movement, but it feels like it is a ball joint. Her arms can go out that much. You can rotate all the way around. They have a bit of a ratchet joint. She has a single joint elbow. She has no wrist swivel, so it is in keeping with Spinmaster with these figures. You can see she's even a little bit taller than Harley Quinn. I'll do a size comparison with a few figures at the end of the video. She has the upper thigh swivel, similar to how the Batman figures are done. Now, she does have a jointed knee, but my one is very tight. I don't want to overstretch it, but there is a knee joint and there is a swivel, and there is that on both knees. Now, it's kind of weird. I thought the knee was misaligned when I first got it, but if you move this off and put the leg out, the leg doesn't look like it's aligned properly, but it's actually just the way the leg is designed. You kind of need to, on the side with the kind of fishnet thing going on. It looks like she has a scar on her left knee, or it's supposed to be, it might be an unpainted bandage from the looks of it. Her other arm, her left arm, is exactly the same. What's interesting is she actually has skin tone joints, so they didn't do brown joint for where the kind of glove part meets the, it's not really a black glove, it's more of a brown on the pink, so it doesn't seem to connect up. You kind of see that skin tone joint poking through. It wasn't painted over or anything like that, so there's that. Overall, it's not too bad a looking figure. She's wearing big boots which have unopened top laces. I'm assuming that is part of her trademark look. Overall, not too bad. As I said, she is a bit top heavy. She can stand, but she has to be, sometimes she has to be assisted, and if you put the accessories in her hands, she will fall over from the weight of them. So she's a little bit more, you kind of do need to stand more for her than for the Darius figure, who will, as I said, she just goes toppling over. Let me just see if I can get her to stand a little better in the background while I get Darius. So Darius only comes with one accessory. He's a pretty cool looking figure. As just if you're into just action figures in general and don't know anything about the game like I do, he's not a bad looking figure. He does have some hinderings with his articulation, most notably with these giant shoulder pauldron type armor pieces. They basically get in the way of the shoulder armor, or sorry, shoulder articulation. There is a joint. It can go out a tiny bit, but because of the way the shoulder armor is done, it is a kind of gummy plastic. It doesn't pop off. It's glued into place. It does get in the way. Somehow he's gotten dust on them already, even though I only opened them out of the packaging. He does have a sculpted on cape with a logo on it, or kind of a, I'm assuming that's his clan logo or something along those lines. He does have this armor piece that's over it, and that's glued into place as well. He can do the splits that much. His legs do give a good range of movement. He has legs, it's almost looks like it has a double joint, or it should have a double joint, but it doesn't. It's only a single joint, just like the other Jazzwares figures. There is a rotation, which kind of is weird at the boot. There's that upper thigh rotation. He does have a single elbow rotation, nothing on the wrist, just like the other figure. The only real added articulation points that they seem to have over the Batman figures is they do have a kind of waist crunch. It's not great on Darius, it's better on Jinx. But overall, they seem to share articulation. He does have 2 peg holes. In fact, Jinx also has 2 peg holes, so if you have the bases, you can plug her into that. He does plug in fine to the base, so if you just want them as a display option, you have that. So let me just tilt my camera down a touch. I'll bring in some figures for comparisons as Jinx is laying face down on the floor. So I'm going to move the boxes out of the way as well. So bear with me a moment, just so I can try and get some better size comparisons. I'll try and do some size comparisons without the bases, so they're unassisted. So Darius does have a fairly big wide stance and foot size, so he does tend to stand a little better. Jinx not so much. But if I just get her to stand, I might get away with it. So I might as well bring in, actually I'll just bring in the tape measure before I bring in figures to compare them with. So for Jinx, she stands just around the just a hair over 4 inches, and Darius is just a small bit over 4 inches as well. They are aimed to be 3 1/4 and 4 inch figures, but they tend to be standing a little bit taller. So for size comparisons, bring in a few Batman figures from the Spinmasters line, which is the same parent company, or the same company I should say. So we have Batman, Bat-Tech Batman and Harley Quinn there for a similar game style design, which they kind of remind me a lot of the Fortnite figures. We'll bring in, I think this is Midas from the Fortnite games. So you can see they do stand a little bit taller than the Fortnite figures. For some more kind of other line accuracy, here they are next to a standard core figure, so they stand a little taller. I'm just trying to see what I have at hand to showcase the heights. So if I move some of these things back out of the way, put Midas in behind them, he's probably going to fall over and topple everyone. Here's the Hiya Toys Battle Damage Robocop 2, or sorry, Robocop 3, sorry. So he's a little dwarfed by them. I do have a Jurassic World mercenary figure handy. So they tend to be quite small figures. And I do have a G.I. Joe figure as well to throw in. It's one of the Commando Vipers. So bringing from the Rise of Cobra line. So there is that. So as you can see, there is the scale kind of varies across the board for different lines. They tend to be standing a little bit taller than G.I. Joe figures. I'd almost say they're nearly 4.5 inches, but they're just a hair over the 4 1/4 maybe. So they're not too bad. Overall, decent enough figures. If you're familiar with the Spinmaster line, then you know what you're getting into with them. Paint apps wise, I don't see too much bleeding or paint issues other than the joint on the Jinx figure with her elbow. It's very kind of noticeable that you can see the actual joint instead of they didn't go with like a brown plastic to cover up that joint, which is a bit of a shame, but I understand that it would probably cost more and have extra tooling for trying to get one piece of plastic to match up. I do recommend heating these figures up when you get them. I didn't do it with mine, but the knee joints on the Jinx seem to be very fragile and very they can be stiff when I just out of the box, so be wary of that. And I'm just trying to think if there's anything else. I'm not a big League of Legends follower. I just barely know the game from all the kind of advertising. As far as I said, I think it's a MMORPG or MMORPG, so that's about the extent of my knowledge about that game system. Overall, it's a nice looking figure. They're both nice looking figures. The Darius one could be used as some sort of, as I said, paladin sort of character if you want to mix it in with your Fortnite figures that look more medieval-ish. The Jinx figure kind of looks like something from, it kind of reminds me of something from Borderlands almost. Kind of, you know, will fit in with your Batman figures. She's almost the same height, so you can get away with it. You could almost have her as a stand-in for Harley Quinn if you can't get the Harley Quinn figure, which seems to be, from what I've heard, is a hard-to-get figure. So I don't know how I lucked out in managing just to find one at random. So there you go, guys. I know this is a bit of a long-winded one, but I hope you enjoyed this figure review for the League of Legends, Jinx, and Darius figures. So, as I say, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and I hope you enjoy this video. Cheers, guys.